Hey, hey, we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. What's up, my people? My people. This is Holistic Healing with Malika, and I am so glad to be back with you. Let me expand my screen just a second. Okay, I'm expanding my screen. I'm so happy to be back with you. You are not going to believe what happened to me today. This is like number four of Holistic Healing with Malika. I tried it earlier. I made a whole video. It did not work. I tried it again. There was no sound. I tried it again and again and again. So I am switching topics right now. We're actually going to talk about this segment, Holistic Healing with Malika, and then I'll go back and I'll do the kidney segment. It's going to be about chronic illness. Chronic illness. As you all know, I am Malika L. Anderson, the founder of Lupus Life Club and 15 other companies that I love and that are so dear to me. And in Lupus Life Club, I am a community of all things lupus and chronic illness, which is the reason for our video today, which I am going to address chronic illness in the 21st century, how to cope, survive, and thrive. All right, so let's just get settled here. I know there are going to be no viewers in the room because I am doing this privately, and then I am going to upload it so all of you can see. All right. Okay. So here we go. In 2012, I was diagnosed with fourth stage lupus, which they said there were 5 stages, and I was already in the 4th stage, and end stage renal disease, which is CKD, which refers to chronic kidney disease. And my kidneys were functioning less than 15%, which meant that immediately I had to go on dialysis and I was immediately placed on chemotherapy. It was horrible. It was terrible. And today I'm just going to share a little bit about my personal testimony with you and how I believe we need to, or how I believe we can cope, thrive, and survive with a chronic illness in the 21st century. I'm just going to turn this light on, guys. I'm going to see if this will give me some better lighting, so excuse me. Yeah, that's a lot better, right? You can see me a lot better. I always love this little camera thing because it's like a mirror. You see I got the fro going. Always got the fro going. But anyway, you guys, so I was diagnosed with those 2 life-threatening illnesses. I was at the worst stage of my life. When I went into the hospital, I didn't leave until 41 days later. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. I was going back and forth to the hospital. There were so many symptoms and things. But when I got to understand what was wrong with me, which was that I was suffering with 2 life-threatening chronic illnesses at that time, illnesses begat illnesses. That was before other illnesses that were trying to attach themselves to me. I was distraught. I didn't understand what was going on with my life, how this could happen to me. It was like the bottom of my life fell out. That's the best way I can explain it. The bottom of my life fell out. I was having a very successful business. I was in corporate, so I was very successful at that. I had very successful business out of my businesses that were doing very well. I was making 6 figures in corporate, and my business was making 6 figures at the time. I had 2 children who were growing up, 2 girls, and, basically had what I thought was a dream life. Now, I was coming out of a marriage for a very long time. So I was post-divorce, but I was still doing okay. This was the time where I was rebuilding my life. I was already, I was already a published author. I was already speaking and traveling all around. And I'm just like, how could this happen to me? How could this happen to my life, my happy life? And I didn't understand. It was very difficult for me to embrace. It was very difficult for me to come to grips with what was happening to my life. And there were a lot of things that I wanted to know, but didn't have answers to, and nobody wanted to tell me. And that's what I want to talk to you about having to deal with someone who has a chronic illness. Now, you may be the person listening to this video that has the chronic illness, or you may be related to the person, the caregiver of a person, or you just know somebody that has a chronic illness, because I believe we all have somebody close to us or know somebody that has a chronic illness. It's just how we deal with them, right? So that's the first thing. So having a chronic illness in the 21st century is a very, very difficult thing. You need and I've got tons of material that you can read about this. You can go to my website, which is www.lupuslifeclub.com. All of the information is going to be below this video. You can go to my other website, www.malikalanderson.com, and find out all about the products and the services and how I can help you. So if you want to know how I can help you, it will be there. But I definitely can help you, and especially if you're suffering with lupus or any type of chronic illness, because they kind of work the same. You know what I mean? They kind of work the same at the core of them and at the root of them. So having a chronic illness in the 21st century is very, very difficult. You need a support system. You need a plan. You certainly need a plan, or else you're just going to believe whatever the doctors tell you, accept whatever anybody else tells you, and probably believe that you can't get well. So many people come to me and have just a long list of reasons before I even tell them how I can help them or why they can't get well. I can't do it because of this, because of that. I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to do that. They already believe in their mind, the power of belief, that they can't do it, that because they have a chronic illness that they won't be able to survive it. You know, it's very difficult for people to cope with chronic illnesses. That's what I find. It's the belief system, because that's the most powerful thing, your personal belief system. And it's the coping with it. If you don't embrace it, and I'm not saying just be content with it, just accept it. I'm saying just to embrace it, to acknowledge it. How can you get over something that you have? How can you get over a cold if you won't even acknowledge that you have one? So you have to acknowledge that you have a cold. You have to acknowledge that you have this chronic illness, that you are suffering, that you are in pain, that you don't know what to do, that you don't know where your next solution is going to come from. And when you can acknowledge it, and when you can accept it, and when you can let it go, when you can release it, it's then you'll find your solutions. It's there where you will find your help. So it's very difficult. That's the first thing we want to acknowledge, that having a chronic illness in the 21st century is very difficult. Now, the second thing is people will try to take away your permission for pain, your permission to vent, your permission to cuss, to scream, to cry, to however you feel as though you need to process what is going on with you. And I say, we don't let people take away our permission ever, never, 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 to feel. You have a right to feel how you feel. It is perfectly normal and it's natural. It's a natural thing. Now, do I want you to stay in that range of emotions? Because most of it's an emotional thing, right? And it's a mental thing. So I don't want you to stay there, but it's okay for you to be there. It's when you let people take away your permission to feel that you start to get into trouble. When you start to oppress, when you feel oppressed and you feel, you have to suppress constantly what's going on inside of you, then you're going to have a problem. And I say, it is your story. It's a part of your story. It's not your whole story. You don't have to be ashamed of what has happened to you. You didn't make yourself sick. A lot of people come to me and say, Malika, they feel like they've made themselves sick by way of them doing something, or this is a consequence of something that they did. That's just hogwash. That's not even a word. That's just hocus pocus, baloney. You didn't make yourself sick. You didn't get yourself sick. Although there may be some things that, happen along the way. Like for me, I had a lot of trauma and a lot of drama. My body crashed. It could not take any more what was going on with it. But I didn't give myself lupus. It wasn't hereditary. It wasn't anything that I did to get at this place. You know, I didn't have high, now I have high blood pressure now because of the lupus and the kidney disease. But I didn't have that prior to these diseases. You know, it wasn't like high blood pressure or kidney disease got me to, high blood pressure or diabetes, something like that got me to kidney disease. It didn't. When I found out everything that was going on with me, I found it out all at one time. I had no idea. I was running 5 miles a day before this happened to me. I was eating right. I was, you know, doing all of the right things that I thought that I was supposed to be doing. So anybody can get a chronic illness. Anybody can get a dis-ease. That's all a disease is. It's a dis-ease of something that is going on within your body, you know, in the 21st century. But it's how do we deal with it? Because I believe in times past, we didn't have Google. We didn't have holistic and naturopath, you know, thick medicine and things like that, alternative and holistic solutions as many. We've always had it. It's always been present since the beginning of the time. But our knowledge of it and how we use it, and especially in this country, in the United States, where it's less than we see in other countries. Right? So it's now being I don't want to say victim, I don't like that word, being the recipient of an illness or having to deal with somebody that has a chronic illness. It's knowing what we can do in the 21st century. We have alternative and holistic solutions. We have to educate ourselves. We have to get as much information as we can so that we can be better. And that's what I did. I decided to do. I'm not going to lay my life down and just let the enemy snuff it out. I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to succumb to this. My will was very strong. It was my will to live, my will to stay in the game, my will to see my daughters grow up and get married and have babies. And I wanted to be a participator in life. And I knew if I wanted to stay here, I was going to have to fight like hell to be here. And I've been fighting like hell. That's right. I said hell. I've been fighting like hell to stay here. And I've been understanding that I need to do my part. I need to do what I need to do to snuff this. Snuff. Remember we used to say snuff in the 90s? All right, I'm telling my age. I'm dating my age. But anyway, to snuff this illness out, I had to take matters into my own hands. I'm being real with you. Ain't no doctors help me. Ain't no doctors help me. If you doctors out there, I love you. I respect what you do. We need you. Certainly, if something should happen to me, I would want a doctor. I would want one. I love science. I love medicine. But I believe that there's something greater than science and medicine. And that's what I leaned into. I leaned into my faith. I leaned into the God that I believe that all things will work together. Spirit, soul, body, mind, will, emotions, everything. Holistic, as you hear me talk about. We're talking about today. Holistic healing with Malika. That's every part of my life had to work in conjunction together. I was never getting well when I didn't think well. I was just wishing, well, maybe it will happen. Maybe it won't happen. I was so defeated. I was so broken. I was so desperate and hopeless and helpless because I didn't really believe, no matter how much people said, we're praying for you, Malika. We believe you'll get better. We'll believe you'll be better. All the signs were showing I wasn't better. That wasn't helping the fluid around my heart. That wasn't helping my lung disorder. That wasn't helping me from not being on oxygen. That wasn't helping me from not being in the hospital. That wasn't helping me from being in extreme pain crisis day after day. That wasn't helping the toxins to clear out of my body from kidney dialysis. That wasn't helping all of the surgeries that I was having. I was hopeless and I was helpless and I was discouraged and I was defeated and I could not get better. I could not get better as long as I thought I was in doubt. I didn't know if I would get better. And I was scared that I wouldn't get better. But it wasn't until I acknowledged it and I came to grips with it and I was just real with it. And I was just real with God about where I was, that things began to get better for me. And now I'm sitting here before you today. And I may look, people tell me all the time, you don't look sick, which is the dumbest, stupidest thing. Never, ever, ever say. I had a video a few years ago on what not to say to a sick person. But you don't say to a sick person, you don't look sick. First of all, sick don't have a look. I suppose it might, but it really doesn't. And you can't tell if somebody is sick. Can you tell somebody is molesting kids? If you tell somebody is schizophrenic by just looking at them? No, you can't tell somebody sick by just looking at them just because they're not in a wheelchair or they're not on crutches or they don't have not in a hospital bed or don't have an outward appearance of sick. I don't like that word, ill. That doesn't mean that they're not ill. You understand what I'm saying? And when I said I don't like sick, I don't like sick because it's more like a state. Sick is more like poor. When people, I'm just so poor. I'm just so broke. I'm just so sick. I don't like none of them words. They all go together. You know, so we'll refer to it. You hear me refer to it as illness. And you can refer to it as that. Or I'll say health challenge. You know, me, I'm facing a health challenge. I won't go around saying I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. You got to watch what you confess out of your mouth. And you got to watch what you believe. You say it long enough, you'll begin to believe it. You understand what I'm saying to you? So anyway, we're talking about chronic illness today in the 21st century and how to deal with that chronic illness, how to cope, right? Don't I believe how you cope is you got to deal with the feelings at the core of it, at the basis of it, at the heart of it, at the darkness of it all. You got to walk through the darkness so that you can walk through the light, so that you can be the light. I never thought I would be the light. I didn't sign up for this, y'all. I didn't want to be the face. I always talk about it. I didn't want to be the when I went looking about lupus and looking for black people with lupus and young black people with lupus, women with lupus, there was nothing. I could find nothing. And I had to be the change. And I didn't want to be the change. I didn't want to be the face of a disease, dis-ease. I didn't want to be the face of the girl who goes to dialysis. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be associated with any of this at all. But God chose me. And it was the moment that I started to accept the challenge, accept that I was chosen to do this, that the passion started to pour through, that I started to have a love for who I was reaching and who I was teaching. I started to have a belief that maybe things could get better. I mean, they got to get better, right? That's what I started to say. If God wants me to do this, then things, excuse me, my ear is itching. If God wants me to do this, then I got to be better to do it. I'll be washing the dishes, I remember, and I'll be thinking, oh man, God, if you want me to do this, then I got to be better to do it. If you want me to fulfill, I closed my eyes for a minute because I saw myself back there and I'm here. It's like, I can't even pinch myself. I can't even believe I'm here today. I'm alive today because so many times I gave up, y'all. So many times I told God, just let me go. Just let me slip away. Just let me go because I don't got the strength within me to keep on going and to keep on fighting. And I'm here today. See, God had a promise over my life. This is a sidebar. But God might have a promise over your life, something that he's promised you, something that you're going to do. And I want to inspire you today. I want to give you some hope today if you're suffering with a chronic illness. Maybe you searched all around and there was no videos and nothing that you could find. And now you're like, where did this little black girl with an afro pop up from? Where did she come from? But something that she's singing were her crooked teeth. And you know what, y'all? With these crooked teeth, you know what people say? First thing they always notice about me is my smile. I'm like, I can't believe it. I got this gap in my teeth. I got these teeth. You know how many thousands of dollars I have had to get my teeth fixed? But I just never did. That's a whole nother story. And I'll tell you why another time. But it's like sometimes I can't even see the deformity or the deflection that I have because God is just using me. And I'm so grateful, but I'm so amazed. I'm like, I can't believe that he would use a girl like me, just a regular girl who grew up in a regular hood, who had a lot of problems, y'all, a lot of problems, drama, dysfunction, trauma, all kinds of things, which some of it, most of it led me into this illness that I am here today. And that'll be another holistic healing with Malika that we'll talk about another time, about how stress can affect your body, and especially women of color, how stress affects us. But anyway, back to, living and coping with a chronic illness. So I never believed that to thrive and survive, the first thing I had to do was learn how to cope or what was going on in my life. And that was very, very difficult. And it took me years, I'm at a little rhythm now, but it took me years to just be able to cope with what was happening to me. because I wanted to go back. You hear me all the time talk about, and in my books I write about how people just talk about, I want to go back to how things used to be. I want to go back to how it was, and I used to do, and used to pass. But it wasn't until I learned, my God, woo, I don't want to cry. It wasn't until I learned how to embrace my present that I could see my future. So I had to let go of my past to embrace my present so that I could see my future. If you didn't hear anything else today, I want you to write that down. You have to let go of your past to embrace your present to see your future. And it was then when I began to see that God had a greater plan for my life than for me to die from these diseases, for me to give up my life and succumb to any illness. There was a plan for me. And I did not know that the plan for me was to touch you, that my illness would be used, my deformity, my sickness, my flaws, my disability would rise up into an ability to reach others and to help to pull others out and to give them hope in the midst of a chronic illness, a sickness. Sometimes they are, they tell us that they are unto death, but no man holds those, no man knows when we're coming, and no man knows when we are leaving here. Even the doctors who go through that little wheel and they say, you're going to have a baby on such and such a day. Most babies don't come on that day because they don't know. They don't hold that wisdom. So we've got knowledge, we've got wisdom, and we've got understanding. We still don't know when we're coming, and we still cannot pinpoint when we're leaving. But the one thing that we do all have in common is that we're coming and we are leaving. But what are we going to do while we're here? How are we going to live? See, I spent so much of those early years wondering when I was going to die that I didn't have time to live. I wasn't thinking about living because I was so worried about dying. Take a deep breath with me. Yeah, that's deep to even, I know some of you out there, you're thinking about, you want to be around, and I understand that. That's totally understandable. I want to be around. You know what I mean? And I can't lie and say I don't think about dying, because I do. I know I do. I don't want to talk about that today, but I do. But I think about living more. I think about impacting people more, strengthening people's lives more, giving more. That's how I cope. That's how you can cope. That's how you thrive, and that's how you survive. I had to find something else to do. I had to find a reason to stay here. Now, we mamas say, I'm staying. I want to be here for my kids and this and that. I do. I love my daughters with all my heart. Everybody knows that. I have a very special, anointed, divine relationship with my daughters. And I want to be here for them. But I want to be here for me. I want to be here for me. One thing this illness has taught me is how to be here for me, how to love me, how to stay in the game for me, how to do something for me. See, I never did that my whole life. It was always about others, how to please others, what to do to please others, what I could do to make others happy. And all of that is good. But in that, I neglected me. And in that, I lost me. And there just was no me. And I had to find out through laying down on my back, through suffering, through what I suffered through in those early days with these illnesses, how to love and respect myself. Again, because I had never done that. I wasn't accustomed to doing that. It's still kind of hard, but not as hard as it was. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that in this coping and in this thriving and surviving, you have to learn how to find a reason to be here. Do things that you love. I found a whole new love for what I love, which is, if you know me, which is like music, sounds, and art and culture. Yes, I'm more right brain, and writing and passion. I'm very passionate. You might say dramatic, some might say extra, but I say passionate. I'm very passionate about life. I have a zeal for life, for love, for people. And I hope that, that's extended to you today. You can feel it. I hope that you feel hope arising. The Bible says, which is one of the books that I love, this is not a Bible session. It's not a church session or a religious set. I just want to say that the Bible says, I don't know where it is, but it says, hope deferred makes the heart grow sick, which basically means, like the more, heartsick you feel, or the worse you feel, it makes your heart grow sick. When you don't have any hope, when you don't have anything to believe in, to hold on to. So that I know I've been there so many times with these chronic illnesses where I felt hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. And God would just send somebody to send me hope. And that's what I hope that I am to you today, that I'm giving you hope. So that hope deferred doesn't make your heart grow sick. So that your hope is arising again, so that you can embrace your future, so that you can, embrace your present, so that you can see your future and know that you do have a future, and know you don't have to die with this illness. Know you don't have to be sick and roll over and just give up no matter how you feel. You need time to recover. So I speak healing words. I send healing words to you. I send light to you. I send love to you and blessing to you. And I speak and I say that you shall live and you shall not die, and you shall declare the works of God, that they shall be all through you, that the glory of God shall be declared in you and through you, and that you'll be doing what I'm doing. You'll be inspiring others and you'll be giving others hope. You can live. You will live. You will. You see my words? You will live. You can live. You will survive this. You will thrive in this. You will begin to cope with what's going on with you. You'll begin to deal with, that's my prayer for you today, that you begin to deal with what's going on in your life, that you won't be silenced and let anybody silence you, that you won't feel ashamed because of what's going on with you, even if you're in a staycation right now. Matter of fact, I want you to send this to everybody that's in the hospital right now. I can remember when I was in the hospital, I would just look for some hope on TV or on YouTube or on the podcast, or just that something would resonate within me, that I would know that that was a sign for me to go on. I hope I'm that sign today. God, let me be a sign today, a physical sign that would touch people's lives, that they would have something tangible to keep them going in the midst of a very difficult situation. And if you're not the one with the illness, but you are the caretaker or the spouse or the child or the friend of somebody that's dealing with illness, that you would know that this video would give you some compassion, some empathy, that you would be able to deal with that person with a chronic illness in your life, that you would feel what they're feeling through what I'm saying to you. And I pray that God would give you ideas, supernatural creativity to help that person in your life, to encourage that person in your life. Because sometimes all we need is a little bit of support, y'all. All we need somebody to say is, I understand. Even if they don't understand, and say, I understand. I know what you're going through. Is there anything that I can do to help you? Or how can I support you? What can I do? Or asking the person to tell you about what they're going through. Tell me about what you're going through. Tell me about the disease. Tell me about what you're feeling. Tell me how I can help you to lift your voice on high. Tell me how I can help you to be a voice. Those are some of the things that we can do. Now, this is just going to be a short video, y'all. We're going to get more and more into chronic illnesses. I want you guys to, all of my information is below this video, but I want you guys to write me, okay? Write me at my email, malika@malikalanderson.com. Write on this video. Tell me that you listened to it, that you liked it. I need a little bit of support too. This is not a new YouTube channel. I've had this channel for years. I just had other videos on there, and we've taken a lot of the old stuff off. I've left a few of the old things on. And now as we're moving into this healing and health and wellness sector, which I've always been doing for 28 years now, as my career as a women's life coach and advocate and a lot of other things, businesswoman, serial entrepreneur, minister, you name it. I've probably done it. God has given me such a diverse gift mix, and I'm so eternally grateful for that. But anyway, we switched out some of the old, and we're building up the new. So I need you guys to support me. Okay, I need you to watch the videos. I need you to share the videos. Share, like, watch, share, like, love, whatever the things are they say. I need you to share it, and I need you to get the word out of it. No, that's wrong. I need you to share it, and I need you to get the word out there so that more people can hear what we're talking about as it relates to holistic healing. And that's why we call it holistic healing, because I'm talking about your whole life. And we've got lots of playlists. I've got the Lupus Life Club. I've got this one, chronic illness, kidneys, dialysis, interviews with Malika, on and on and on and on. You can find that on this YouTube page. And also, I want you to go to my websites. I want you to see all the information and ways that I can help you there. We've got health consults, nutrition consults. We can help you find out what you need to feed your specific illness, the herbs, minerals, vitamins you need. I can help you with a plan. Okay, and then we still got our wonderful business services to help your voice be heard. Lots of business coaching and consulting that we can help you with. So www and a lot of other stuff, books and interviews and podcasts, lots of stuff, y'all. So go to www.lupuslifeclub.com or www.malikalanderson.com. You can find me on social media. I'm on them all. Now I'm going to name them. Let's see. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. What's the other one? I don't know. On and on and on and on. Read my blog. Get involved. I love you so much. Thank you for letting me come into your homes today with that joy, 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 joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Anyway, thank you for joining me on Holistic Healing with Malika. And I'll see you in one of the rooms, in one of the groups on YouTube. I'll see you somewhere very soon. I love you. Bye.